Greetings, Internet! In this video, we're going to talk about how I planned my entire engine room portfolio level before ever even opening the Unreal Engine. We'll be taking a look at my level design documentation, which will help us explore some of the thoughts and theory behind my design choices. Then, we'll take a brief look at my playtester data before showing an uninterrupted playthrough of the level. Hope you enjoy! This is my level design documentation. As you can see, this was for a school project, so I did have parameters set by the curriculum. In short, I was confined to a 100 by 100 play area and was required to make 3 different paths to complete the level, as well as add in some unnecessary interactions to distract the player. The concept that I came up with was the engine room of a starship, where the reactor has failed and the player needs to repair and restart it inside of a time limit or their life support will fail. I chose to create my 3 paths as options more than literal paths to an exit. The player must repair 3 broken engine components before they will be able to restart the reactor. The order in which the repairs are completed does not matter, so the player is free to choose their path to complete the level. There are various interactable actors in the scene that are not required to complete the level, but they help fill the scene with items you might find on a real-life starship. We were only able to use free assets for this project, which actually helped me come up with the concept for this level. While browsing for assets, I discovered some really interesting sci-fi assets that reminded me of a scene in Star Trek Into Darkness, where Captain Kirk must fix the warp core. I thought that the concept of repairing a spaceship engine fit perfectly into the design constraints of this project, and in the end, it made a fantastic playable level. Here are the mood boards I created while brainstorming the level. If you're interested in finding these images online, there will be a references slide later in the video. I was mostly interested in having a central engine that was the centerpiece of the scene. Then, the player would travel around the edges of the map completing their tasks. I tried to use these images to inform my work on the level. I wanted the level to be well lit so the player knew where to go, but I also wanted to impart a sense of urgency. So at the beginning of the level, a jarring alarm blares. And then, the player is greeted by red lights and an alert message on the console in front of them. There are also various red and green lights used to communicate object affordances to the player. This is a bubble diagram of the level. These can be useful tools in the early stages of planning a level. It is an extremely quick and easy way to get a basic layout on paper to see if your idea is geometrically possible. This is a top-down map of the level's playable area. As indicated by the key, you can see the reactor in the center, with the broken engine components being in the corners of the room. The unnecessary interactions are also positioned to draw the player's attention and be hard to miss when approaching the objectives. This is the top-down map with the objectives marked and paths drawn to each other. This is simply to show that the player has agency over what path they take in the level. Here is some footage of the level being played. Hopefully, you can see how the final layout is nearly identical to my original idea. Next, we'll look at some of the custom mechanics at work. If you'd like to see how they work under the hood, be sure to check out my Blueprints deep dive video on this channel. In my level design document, I used detailed descriptions and storyboards to explain how the mechanics would work. This is a description of the interactable console. The idea is the player approaches it and it displays information about how to complete the level. And here is the console in action in the level. This is a simple interact to open door mechanic. It takes the form of a security door that when approached displays the prompt of press E to open security door. If the player interacts, the door will play a sound and open. Here it is in action. This is a simple elevator mechanic. If the player steps on the platform, it will rise up to allow the player to reach a higher platform. Stay there briefly so the player can depart before returning to its starting position. And here we see it during a recent playtest. This mechanic is the main objective of the level and takes the form of the path the player must choose. It is a broken engine component that is on fire at the start of the level. When the player approaches it and interacts, they will enter an animation at the end of which the broken component will appear to be repaired and the fire and sound effects will be removed. Here it is in the level. These lasers are an unnecessary interaction to distract the player. If the player gets near their console, a prompt will ask the player if they want to fire the lasers. If the player interacts, a sound effect and Niagara particle system will play. Here the lasers are in action. The final piece of the puzzle and the way to finish the level is the Reactor Console. If the player has repaired all 3 broken components, they will get a prompt when they approach this console. If they press E, Niagara particle systems will activate to simulate the reactor and the ship's engines starting. They will then be displayed with a winning message and some data about their playthrough of the level, as you can see at the bottom left corner. Now I want to talk about why I collected that data at the end of the game. It was for playtesting purposes, simple as that. The data helped me see how much the players were interacting with the various items in the level. This helped me tweak the level to draw the players towards the interactables. Here is a brief look at my playtesting document for this level. I thought it was important to include in this video to show the final step of any project, which is playtesting and refinement. A single designer will never be able to catch all potential bugs and issues in a game, so robust playtesting is important. Lastly, I'm going to leave you with an uninterrupted playthrough of the level so that you can see how the design came together. I really enjoyed working on this project and breaking it down for you. I have several other portfolio pieces coming to the channel, and I'm working on a demo game release at the moment, so please stay tuned for those. Thanks for visiting my channel, and I hope you enjoy this gameplay footage. Have a great day.